COSAM. Let me also recognize Professor Trace, who is representing the University of Strathclyde. I would ask us to make a quick round of introductions. I think that's important, just to know who is here in the room as we are beginning our event. So, I'm Kondwan Chidziwisano, and I'm the Washtead Center Manager, and I'm the one facilitating the event today. May I ask Prof. Umwenda, if you can just briefly introduce yourself, and then we just make a quick round of introductions, and then we move on. We know that in unity there is power, so it's quite important that as the academic institutions, as research institutions, we should always work together to share knowledge, to share experience, and how can we address the challenges that we are experiencing here in the Global South, but also the challenges in the Global North. So today, we just want to formalize this kind of collaboration between the two institutions. We are very happy that we are having this event after all the background preparations that we have done. So without saying much, let me ask our Vice Chancellor, Professor Chitera, maybe to make some few remarks, and then we may hand over to Professor Moss as well. Thank you.
Let me recognize the DVC. Thank you for gracing this occasion. I've started with the DVC because he told me that he was chairing another meeting. And, and thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Professor Tracy, representing the Principal and Vice Chancellor for University of Strathclyde. Mr. Chad Mossy, the Deputy President, the Deputy CEO for Scotland-Malawi Partnership, and all staff from the Scotland-Malawi Partnership. Our Business Director, Business Development Manager, Charity, here present. Our Master of, I'm just mixing up. But as long as I've acknowledged you, the Washtead Manager, all staff from Washtead, the media here present, and also HOD, thank you very much for coming, and good morning to you all. Today, I think we are so excited. I think that's why we're just mixing up things, because of finally, we are now signing the MOU that we have been discussing for quite some time now. As the MC mentioned, that we've been working with the University of Strathclyde for some time, a good number of years, more than 10, more than 30. Yes, more than 30 years. And the MOU that we had that time, it was at the University of Malawi. And specifically, we were into research, but in the health sector. And so that's where we concentrated. And there is quite a lot of projects that we have done together with Strathclyde, especially with also Tracy, as in her own capacity as Tracy. And even the growth within the Washtead, we can't talk about that growth without mentioning Strathclyde, without mentioning Tracy. So after some time, when we became independent, we said, yes, we are using this MOU, but as a university, we have our own vision now, which is completely different from what we had under UNIMA. And also from the experience that we've had for the past 30 years, can we look into the MOU, redefine the MOU, and then include some of the areas that we are focusing on as the new university. In our talk and in our discussions, we have found that we have similar vision. Almost everything that we are focusing on, it was like as if we saw the University of Strathclyde and then copied everything from there. almost everything. You talk of the innovations, the direction that we are going, and the steps that we are taking. That's exactly what Strathclyde is doing. If you go into the entrepreneurship center that we have established, that's exactly what they are doing. Of course, it's exactly what they are doing, but they are far much developed. We are just starting, following in their steps. When you look at the drive that we have in terms of student population, when we went to Strathclyde and when we had a discussion with the principal and the VC, it was, the way they started, it was exactly the same way, the way we are starting. And so there's so many things that can go on and on, looking at the schools that we have. They are similar to what they're doing and so on and so forth. And therefore, we had to sit down and say, okay, so which areas should we focus on? And for us, we said, we want our MOU this time to be a general MOU, which should cover every department and entity that we have, rather than just focusing on one side. So we talked issues of entrepreneurship. How can we incorporate entrepreneurship? How can we incorporate innovation? How can we incorporate all the other schools? And then apart from that, we also said most of the MOUs that we have signed with a good number of universities, it focuses on research, collaboration, and whatever. But we completely ignore administration, finance, departments like those. And then we are saying, because our drive is also to increase the student population, we are talking of 30,000 students, and as we are expanding, what are the steps that we need to do? What is it that we need to take care at this particular moment? What is it that we can learn from them? So we said this MOU, it's general because it will have to go beyond what we have been discussing before. And luckily, the VC for Strathclyde accepted for us to include the parts of the administration, finance, and all those other administration departments. So you will notice that in this MOU, there is a part that demonstrates that particular element, because we were saying, yes, we've had the collaborations, these collaborations, but we also want to learn, how does the ICT work like? Okay. How does the finance work like? How does the administration work like? The registry, and so on and so forth. Marketing, whatever, all those particular things. So we had discussion, we talked about all those things, and we agreed that I think we need to move beyond just looking at the research and the other collaborations. So the MOU that we are signing today demonstrates that commitment between the two universities, MUBAS as well as Strathclyde. We are committed to learn from each other, and then we move and push ourselves so that we have a greater impact on both continents, not just on one continent. Yes, and we agreed that it will not be a parasite relationship where we'll just say, we get, give us this, but we emphasized to say, even though we are coming behind, we are learning from you, but what is it that we can also contribute to your institution? And so we said, feel free to say, okay, we are also demanding this from MUBAS. We're demanding this MUBAS. Can you also do this? So that in this particular relationship, we also contribute, they also contribute, and we co-create in terms of whatever we would want to do and to see on the ground. So, Madam Tracy, thank you very much for this particular of the milestone that we're achieving today, or that we have achieved, and for this signed MOU. And pass on our appreciation and gratefulness to the VC for Strathclyde, that this is what we have been waiting for. We are glad that we are going to, we are signing it today, but also, if I remember very well, we said after the signing of the MOU, we are going to come up with the plan. That's what we agreed. Yes, so we are going to come up with a plan to document the steps that we are going to follow to make sure that this MOU is functional. Because we said we don't want the MOU that we just put on the shelf and we just be talking, no, we have signed an MOU, no. But for every element that we have listed here, it will have an action plan, the timelines and the dates and everything else. So we agreed that after we have signed here, we are going to have that. So maybe just to mention that we are embracing, I think, about 5 areas, which includes the value of international networks and partnerships in university leadership and administration. So that's where we talked about the ICT, the registrar, the finance, whatever, coming in together in that. Then also the value of international networks and partnerships in education and research. So it's broad, covering all our schools. And also on critical global challenges and programs of sustainable development, issues of application of knowledge and expertise to real-world challenges, as well as the importance of working with industry and with the broader private. So this is where now the innovation, the industrialization, the entrepreneurship, and everything else now, the incubations, whatever, they are coming under. So thank you very much. And also let me appreciate the DVC and the management team. When we started working on this, they've been very instrumental as well, contributing to this MOU, putting into, looking at what should come in here and so on and so forth. So whatever is in here, we have all the contribution from the management, and the DVC was part and a coordinator of this particular exercise. So once again, thank you very much. We really appreciate, and we look forward to the implementation of this MOU. Thank you.
All right, I have to stand up as well. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Professor Chitera. And as you mentioned, yes, we've had a relationship for a very long time, and I had the privilege of being based in this institution for 20 years, for which I'm still very grateful for all the support I've had from people who are now long retired, but also people like Professor Kumwenda, Dr. Chirisano, who's also looked after me as well. So thank you. I'm going to do the Azungu thing and say, all protocols observed, since we've already done the welcomes. It's a real delight to be back. Although right now in Glasgow, it is very sunny and 26 degrees Celsius, and Blantyre is raining and cold. So I'm not sure why I'm not in Scotland right now. As Professor Chitera mentioned, this is technically the 4th MOU that has been signed with this institution, but the first with MUBAS. And although Strathclyde work across a number of different African countries and other African institutions, this is the first signing of an MOU that makes MUBAS our first international strategic partner at Strathclyde in the African continent. And that's very special to us because we can have lots of MOUs, as Nancy mentioned. You know, we get this situation where we have a nice paper signed and on a shelf. But for us, our international strategic partners are those that we really embed our partnerships with, look at how we move forward, make sure that we have very strong plans. And as the principal mentioned as well, these are things that are supposed to drive support and improvements in both institutions. This is not a one-way partnership. There's lots that colleagues and students at Strathclyde can learn from Malawi as well, as I tell them constantly there too. So MUBAS is important because we've had this relationship for so long, particularly in engineering and in environmental and public health, and we've shared a huge amount between staff and research and exchange and capacity building. But as mentioned, that previously has been very much focused on research, and we really want to get back into the heart of helping strengthen institutional improvements as well. And in young institutions like MUBAS, Strathclyde's also quite young in many ways, from 1964, we see a lot of mutual learning coming from across that. Lots of opportunities for MUBAS to benefit from where technology has advanced and moved on, and MUBAS can leapfrog those things and teach us how to improve our systems as well. Both of our institutions have been growing significantly in the last 15 years. As already mentioned, particularly in areas of engineering, of entrepreneurship and innovation, Strathclyde holds itself as one of the leading institutions. We say that we're a leading international technological university, which is also globally socially progressive. And that's really focused on the fact that although we can develop technologies and solutions, we need to think about the people and the economies that those are also affecting. And I think that's really at the heart of the MUBAS strategic plan as well, and it's exciting to be able to work with a partner with the same vision as well. All of our work's really been embedded with industry and partners, and this MOU really represents a step change, as the Vice-Chancellor has mentioned, in how we're going to work together going forward. We want to leverage that mutual expertise to support Malawi's economic development through not just partnership, but equitable partnerships and collaborations, ones that really use that research and industry collaboration and partnerships as well at the heart of them. All of this, hopefully, not only supports MUBAS, but also Malawi's Vision 2063 as well, in terms of moving forward. We're very conscious in all the work that we do, existing with WashTED and other partners within the institution, that there is a huge population of amazing young people in this country that need to be supported and can really help drive that future for Malawi as well, and we hope to really help and be part of that exciting journey. Has been mentioned, capacity strengthening is a really key component within the MOU, but really continuing to focus on our important partnerships with environmental and public health, but also in energy and renewable energy and mining, and looking at climate change and sustainable development. I think we see that you're at the really sharp, pointy end of climate change here in Malawi with increasing cyclones and challenges. So how can those of us in the global north who have really perpetuated that challenge and accelerated help to also work with you to look for solutions that are appropriate? And lastly, of course, the innovation, entrepreneurship and technology transfer, which is absolutely essential. We want to help drive practical solutions that are appropriate for the local environment that are here. So we hope that we can continue to learn from one another as we sign. It's obviously my privilege to be the VC of Strathclyde today, who sends his greetings. He was absolutely delighted to meet Professor Tintero when she came over to Strathclyde last October, and I think that was a real opportunity to drive this step change as well, to see what Strathclyde are doing, what we can transfer, and hopefully now we can see colleagues coming from other areas to MUBAS to also take learning from here back to Scotland as well as we go forward. So delighted to be signing this with you today, Professor Chitera, and look forward to the next step in our relationship.
Thanks very much for those remarks. It's now time for the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding. So I will ask our VC, Prof. Chitera, to sign, and then Tracy will do the same on behalf of the VC for the West of Strathclyde. Afterwards, you exchange the documents just to show that we are now in partnership and we are moving together. Thank you.
I'll get arrested for if I sign over the VC's signature. So I will pose. His signature is much more impressive than mine anyway. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. word to say. So it's called a quake, and it's the translation is a cup of friendship. So in Scotland, you would fill this with whiskey. I didn't bring the whiskey. You would fill this with whiskey, and you would share and drink. So this is a sign of our continuing friendship and collaboration going forward as well. Yes. Well, mine has also got a jacket on today. What's happening? This chair's so awkward, I think. Shall we move it inside here? It's not the camera side, it's me. Thank you so much. Great. It's a lovely
Yeah, thanks very much for the signing and for the photos and everything. I'm sure we are now glad that the MOU is there, and it will really give us an opportunity as academic members here, as researchers, but also our colleagues from Strathclyde as well, to comfortably and work together as two institutions. I think this marks the end of our function. It's a very small function. I know we are very surprised because we are used to very long kind of functions, but today is a different thing altogether. Yeah, but I would like to thank our VC, Prof. Chitera, our DVC, we see as well, Prof. Moss from University of Strathclyde, but also HOD, Prof. Komenda, and all the members for your attendance, just to appreciate the process of signing the event. Otherwise, thank you very much, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.